Garland School District today received word that the federal hearing examiner would accept its plan for desegregation. Mr. Glen Couch, superintendent of the Garland schools, was a witness during those hearings. Mr. Couch, could you explain what occurred between your school district and the federal government?
Yes, Garland began its desegregation program back in 1963, and this was the stair-step plan. But then in April of '65, we were requested to accept either a geographic plan or a freedom of choice plan. And at that time, we accepted the geographic plan with a liberal transfer route. But then in August, we were notified that this plan was not acceptable and that we would need to prepare one that would be better suited to the federal government. So in September, we were threatened with the loss of our funds relative to our school, part of our school program, and we would either have to accept the freedom of choice plan or lose our funds. So we accepted the plan. The plan has worked real well in Garland since 1965. However, this last April, we were requested to show why we couldn't have a better plan and why we couldn't get rid of the vestige of the dual school system. Now, this last year, 20% of our faculty were integrated. The 68% of our children were in formerly white schools, and we felt like that we had a good plan. We were complying with the law, and we felt that way, so we had 10 days to request a hearing, which we did. The hearing was held on June the 10th, and this is the answer to that hearing. And we're delighted with the outcome in that the federal examiner has given us our funds back and states that the Garland School District is in compliance with the Civil Rights Act and the regulations of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare.
I think so, Phil. I think it's almost impossible to find complete unanimity on anything with 11 people to interject their views on each subject, but we came pretty close. People gave a little, took a little, and got together rather well, I thought.
Prior to the last session of the legislature, we had in our own ordinances a provision which provided against disorderly conduct upon the school grounds. This provides that there can be a fine levied if they attempt to loiter on about the school grounds, or if they attempt in any rude or any other manner calculated to attract attention, disrupt the students. However, the last session of the legislature did two things, I think, that are of some significance. One of them was they provided for an offense called disruptive activities at educational institutions. And this gives a much greater fine than, of course, we can give. We can only give up to $200 fine, and actually this can provide for a jail sentence as well.
What is the primary goal of competition such as this?
Well, our competition is looking for a young man who is ready to embark on a career of international importance, and we feel that if we find such a man or woman, that this competition provides an enormous, fantastic springboard into international fame.
Would you consider this person something of perhaps an ambassador of culture to the world?
Well, certainly. I think any time you have an artist of international standing who travels all over the world and brings great music to people